I first met Dennis Richardson back in 2002 when he was a member of the Central Point City Council. He was running for a seat in the legislature, and I was reporting for his hometown paper down there in Central Point, and made that connection with him. Ended up working as a legislative aide during the 2005 session, and remained a friend and a supporter, right up until the end. I didn't realize what an impact he had on me until he was gone. He was kind of my window to that world. Politics had always seemed like such a distant, remote thing to me. So he was a friend, but he was also a mentor in many ways, and one of my first mentors. So after he passed away, a friend of mine mentioned, a friend of mine who had worked very closely with him the last few years of his life during the Secretary of State's race and in that office, had mentioned about doing a book, but it was still too raw, and I didn't know what it was going to look like at that point. So, well, this is going to be an official biography of his entire life. Is it going to be kind of my perspective of my encounters with him? Because that would have been a pretty short book. But in the year and a half since then, I'd see all these Facebook memories pop up with him, and still get teary-eyed. And a lot of my friends that knew him and worked with him, it was the same thing. And I'd see these pictures pop up, and I realized that he wasn't just my friend's Dennis, he was our friend's Dennis. And that I had a lot of people in my immediate circles, about 20 or so, that between all of us, we could tell the story of his public life. So the pieces of the story came together very quickly. This late spring, May, June, I started conducting interviews with a lot of these folks, former legislators who'd worked with him, his different aides over the years. Dennis gave the last 20 years of his life to public service, and he earned his place in Oregon history. And I figured the story might as well be told by people who loved him.